The new work is developing as well. When you look into the industrial politics all over the world, and certainly in Scandinavia, you get the impression that most people work in companies like Telenor, Equinor, so on and so forth. Whereas the case is that only 10% of the workforce in Norway works in these places. However, these are the companies that basically define the politics, just because they are focusing obviously on creating the best possible political framework for their industry. That creates big problems for the small and medium-sized enterprises, and I have lots of examples on it that I want to bore you with. The most important is that startups, small and medium-sized enterprises, those are the most important businesses all over the world. It's the backbone, and even if they don't become a unicorn, even if they only stay and remain companies that will have 5, 10, 15 employees, it will still be a valuable addition to the community and to the society, and certainly to the industrial development of any society and any country. So that's us. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. All the way from Drammen, Thomas, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So no one knows what the workplace of the future will look like, or where the jobs will be found, and what it will require from us. But what is pretty obvious is that it won't look the same as it does today. That is why innovation is crucial to ensuring Norway succeeds in a quickly increasing competitive global landscape. Many people talk about innovation, but too few actually put it into practice. While Norway's government each year grants billions of kroner for research and development projects, many good ideas are still lost due to lack of funding. At Nofas, we help businesses move into the future. We identify, we prioritize, and we communicate research and development projects. Then we steer applications safely through the funding system of Norway and the European system for funding. We have assisted thousands of businesses this way since we started in 2005. We are proud contributors to ensuring that innovation takes place successfully. Our customers come from a broad range of industries and vary wildly in size and complexity. Still, they share an understanding that development innovation projects is frequently demanding and steals time and capacity from core business. So as you outsource accounting and IT services, more and more businesses are looking at buying these kinds of services also from external partners. Understanding and communicating complex technology is a demanding task. That is why Nofas has invested heavily in expertise. So all our consultants are at PhD or master's degrees. Our goal is to be a partner that contributes to customers' success. So we only allow payment if our customers actually achieve success. We are helping to shape the workplace of the future by improving Norwegian companies' ability to innovate. So please feel free to learn more about us, as Steinar said, down this hall between 2 and 4. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And may I just have Harald Gjellum, Kyrre Dahl, and as well, David Holmglad, report here to stage. We're putting you on stage in just a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am Harald Gjellum. I am the founder and chairman of iSpot. I will give you a 3-minute pitch. iSpot is your local assistant. It's an app helping you to get benefits in your life. We are about 15 persons. We are 3 years old. We are located in Oslo and in Spain. We have done it before. That's my previous company. It's like 50 people in UK, millions of users. It's a digital doctor. What we try to solve is the challenge to help the physical world, I mean the shops, the restaurants and everything, in order to communicate to the people outside and to give them the same opportunity you have on internet, so you can communicate much more targeted and get them into you. And we also believe that we want to combine more services into one service. So in a way, you have this local assistant who knows and can help you in different areas. The local assistant knows everything about you, it knows everything around you, it can help you, it's your friend, it helps you while you are traveling, while you are shopping, or while you are moving around. This local assistant, what it does is that it tells you about the services at the right time, at the right place, which is matching your interest. So if it has something to tell you, which is matching your interest, it does it, if you like. It takes care of your wallet. It stores your receipts, your tickets, your loyalty cards, and it makes the card smart. So actually, when you are close to something, it can actually tell you that, Harold, you should use this card because that you get 30% discount. You can share your profile. That means all this data about yourself is stored in a way where you can look at it. It's your data. You decide if you want to share the data. If you share the data, you might get some benefits. And in this case, I share it and I get like 50% reduction in my car insurance. We are building up an ecosystem. We are talking to partners in Norway and abroad. We are talking to quite big partners within retail, within hotels, and I'm talking about some of the leading partners in the world. Business model, free for the end user. If you want to talk to the people outside your service, you pay a little fee. We have proven the business model. We are up and running. We have like 2 million in recurring income. We have like 15 customers. We have signed up with customers in Spain, like Malaga City. We are talking to all the major cities. We are talking to big associations. We are actually talking to international players having like 1.5 billion users. We are looking for next investment round, which is like $3 million US. And in 1 year time, we are looking for like $12 million US. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Harald. We're just in the countdown to the pitch floor that happens just in a couple of minutes. May I ask all of those pitchers who are actually included in impact number 1, the unicorn part, the first half an hour. Those of you who are present, could you please come up here and report to Line, who is here, that you are here. It's rather early to do that right away, so we know that you are here. Please do so, okay? And Ronny, just a little bit of music before we're here now. At least in Norway, probably in the world, who knows, advokatfirma Reder. Kyrre, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Steinar. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I'm from the law firm Reder. We obviously have a proven business model as lawyers, and we are here looking for new clients. What do we do? I was on the stage on the cryptocurrency panel. We do that. We do a lot of tech, legal advice. But we are also in various other industries. We are, here is us. We are 21 partners, a total of 75 lawyers and other staff. We do all kinds of business law, from corporate law to IP law to restructuring. Hopefully none of you are there in the insolvency department. We are internationally renowned. We have 3 partners with New York bar exam. So although we are a medium-sized Norwegian firm, we look internationally. We do have a lot of international clients. We assist investors, we also assist startups, and we have a couple of tech companies in our portfolio that we started with in the garage and is now listed companies, so we like to be all the way from the small companies to the big ones. Try to go forward and not backwards. These are our main industries: trade, retail, IT, TMT, real estate and construction, and as well as insurance industry. These are some of our clients. Maybe you know some of them. These are the ones we're allowed to disclose like this. We obviously have a lot of other clients within different sectors. Yesterday we had one of our clients in the startup phase had a two-pager in Finansavisen, Pick a Tail, very interesting app for interactive reading. So if you haven't downloaded Pick a Tail app, you should do it right away. And that's what I have. I don't have an app, but we have lawyers, so feel free to call me if you need advice.
The last impact speaker of the countdown session today, which is Marco da Veiga. Marco, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marco da Veiga, and I'm standing here today as the CEO and President of Youth Nation. Our vision is to restore faith and hope through leadership and management. Now, I would love to talk about my fabulous team, but because of time, I will go right into my next line. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about the problem. The problem is the mindset. You see, people have trauma, they have wrong attitudes, bad self-image, and there's also a lack of direction. But now that I'm talking about the problem, of course, I'm a solution center, so I will also give you the solution. Ladies and gentlemen, the solution is mindset, and the solution here is personal development. It is good role models, it is inspiration, it is mentoring and proper recognition. I have the courage to tell you that we must have courage to guide and give our children and youths direction again. Why? That is a very intelligent question for this intelligent audience, and I will tell you why. Because each and every one of us needs to break through either spiritually, mentally, emotionally, or physically. Is my definition called SEMP. And yes, that is my book. I'm also an author. It's called The Breakthrough. Ladies and gentlemen, you become what you think about. We need good leaders because the leaders bring people together. And I can say that part of the solution is that we need a reform to implement personal development as a subject in schools from age 14 to 19. Why? That is also a very good question. Because we need the right attitude. With the right attitude, we will have the right approach. And with the right approach, we will have the right results. And each and every one of us sitting in here, we want results. We want to make sure that what we build, that the children that will inherit our kingdom, inherit our corporation, they will stand for the core values that we have worked so hard to build up. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why we cannot make the abnormal normal and normalize the abnormal. You see, there are certain core values that even evolution herself, she must abide in them. And the core values are such as discipline, integrity, trust, faith, loyalty, and last and not least, love. Why? Because that is the only way for us to make sure that what we build will be in the right hands. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Marco da Veiga, and I'm born to inspire.
Michael, thanks a lot. Please make me remind that all of you who are in Impact Session 1, and I also invite those of you who are in Impact Session 2 to step forward and report to the moderator Line here in front, so that she knows that you are here. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the countdown? Can you help me to do this? Let's count down to the pitch floor. Are you ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1, 0. And I'm happy to introduce Norway's leading startup investor to open the pitch floor today, Trond Riiber Knudsen. Welcome to C4 Global.
Thank you very much, Steinar, and not the least, thank you very much for the award yesterday. I was so happy with the award, I even brought it today. So it's all here, and in the future I will keep that very high in my mind. Very happy to be here. You might know that for close to 25 years I spent my time as a management consultant, a partner with McKinsey. But you know, only a few years back, if this works, or perhaps here, yeah, I saw this thing on the wall of Alliance Venture. You know, that, you know, shouldn't you really rather pursue your passion for change? And I was always a guy who liked to be on the side of change. I wanted to see, you know, the world become a better place. So I decided to leave McKinsey and spend all my time and energy on supporting entrepreneurs. Like my Lia here, who is my partner in Addis Abeba, who has created employment for 7,600 people in Addis Abeba. I learned the value of entrepreneurship. I also started to see that here in Norway, we have massive opportunities, Arneva, to create large startup and scale up and unicorns. So that's what I'm doing currently. I'm so happy to be here to see the presentations today. But just a few words on what I'm doing. One of the things I saw in Norway was that, you know, we have great technical talent. We didn't historically have a strong venture industry. We did not have a venture industry. We knew how to build companies organically, like you do in retail, 1 stores, 2 stores, use the cash flow. I was on the board of Reitan Rema for 10 years. I saw how you could build something phenomenal on your own cash flow. Only problem, it takes 30 years to do it. Or you can do like in the oil and gas industry, shipping industry, use massive amounts of debt against steel and concrete collateral. We know how to do it. However, that's not where the jobs are going to be in the future. They're going to be in tech-enabled global growth. And there you need venture capital. You need risk equity. And we didn't have a lot of it. So what I've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years is to talk about this and the importance of building a stronger ecosystem. And every time I go to events like this, I see more people and more money coming in, which is terrific. I think it's possible. So when I left McKinsey 4 years ago, I started this company with a friend of mine from McKinsey. So this is a company, machine learning company, large-scale deployment in heavy asset industries. We started less than 4 years ago, and with the round we're currently doing, we brought more than $50 million to this company. And we are 130 people across the world. And so it's possible to do. We're in the MIT program, we are in Stanford X. I'm always talking about this in Norway, because we can create these really large tech winners. And only a few years back, less than 2 years back, an architect, a tech guy, and a management consultant came to me and said, we want to do machine learning for optimization of plots of land. It hasn't really been done for developers. Wow, you know, I'm a structural engineer. I love the idea. Shouldn't we do this? Yeah, we should do it. Let's create this company, Spacemaker. We started 2.5 years ago. Last week, we closed a round where we brought in $25 million at the valuation, pre-money valuation of $80 million. It happened in 2.5 years. Now, so, I think it's important, exactly, Richard, it's important to recognize that it's possible to do this. And we're going to see many more of these type of cases going forward. We hope that some of them will be in our portfolio. We love startups. We can never stop investing. As you know, in this market in Norway, we invest in one company every month. That's our kind of rhythm. It's important for everyone to know that there are some investors out there who actually are available to talk and to invest. I'm always telling people, also internationally, that we might not have so-called unicorns in Norway, but we have created massive tech-enabled companies. Don't forget that. Tandberg sold to Cisco for $3.5 billion. Nycomed Imaging to GE for $3.5 billion. Schibsted just split the company, and the classified media part is worth close to $10 billion. Only the financial part of that company, called Lendo, is $1 billion. So we have created a lot of companies that will qualify as unicorns. So we already done it. And many of these people are already in the ecosystem. So we can build around a lot of these capabilities. So we like to be structured. You know, I come from McKinsey. So what we've done is to develop investment themes for Norway, where we see that Norwegian companies have historically been world leading. I mean, there's a massive amount of startups building around these ecosystems, and that's the investment strategy that we deploy. This is typically what we look for. We want to be partner with the founders, have high ambitions, great teams that can attract the very best people, that are truly capable, and deploy the newest set of technologies against big, massive opportunities. We did push very hard, as you know, for creating a stronger ecosystem. We feel it's a great mark of success that the amount of money last year invested into early stage in Norway was 8.5 times higher than only 5 years ago. So from 374 million kroners to 3 billion kroners is already happening in this market by a lot of people pulling together and getting these type of sources involved into the market, from corporate venture capital, family offices, new venture capitals, seed investors, and Steinar and you guys in the whole environment. So it's too early to declare success, but I think we're seeing massive progress. This is a time to be an entrepreneur. The future are in the arms of the entrepreneurs. That's where we're going to see massive positive impact in the world. And I think more and more of us would like to support that and take part in that journey going forward. So super happy to be here. If you have an iPhone, you can put your camera on the QR code. It's one of our startups called Mingle, digital business card company, and we can stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Trond. And we are moving on. Please welcome next on stage Thomas Heyerdahl with Heyerdahl Jewelry Design.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm here to been asked to tell my little story and maybe try to inspire people to think a little bit outside the box. We are a traditional jewelry store, and when I took over the company like 15 years ago, I was thinking about how to achieve some attention to our core business, that is diamonds. And in that way, I was thinking we need to create something new, something never seen before. And then we came up with the idea to create the most expensive iPod ever made. And we did so. So I called Apple and I asked if it's okay for them that we made this product and if it was okay to launch this worldwide with a PR project. And they were just happy with it. So, you know, most people would think that this was impossible to do with a company like Apple, but they were just happy with it, and they thought it was a very nice and a cool project to do. And after that, I was thinking about, because the iPod was auctioned away in London for a charity, it was only made in one piece as a limited edition, and I thought I need to do some commercial product out of this as a spin-off. And I designed these AirPods myself, and we produced this, and it was sold all over the world. like Middle East, US, London, and so on. So this was probably the most expensive airports made at that time. It was like 80,000 Norwegian kroner. And this was the PR image we used for selling them. And as a spin-off from that, I was contacted by Nokia, and they wanted me to create or redesign a phone with diamonds to create some PR and some attention. And then we made this phone with about 200 diamonds for the Chinese and the Hong Kong market. Okay, and and this was a car we made together with Audi. It's a diamond edition car with diamonds on the gear stick. So the thing is, try to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to knock on some doors, and things will open up and to create some cool new stuff. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas. And please welcome next Thomas Due and Dextera next on stage.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I come from a company called Venture Lab. My name is Thomas, and we made a little investment about, thank you, which one is it? This one. We made a little investment about 3-4 years ago in this company called Dextera. So I'm going to tell you a little story. So Dextera was a project that was initiated in 2015 by Dr. Frank de Droog in Venture Lab. We tried to create a life-saving healthcare technology that could predict the onset of complex conditions and diseases. And the question we asked ourselves was, is it possible to predict the future of your health? That's a pretty bold question. Now, while we're doing that, we wanted to address heart disease, surgical complications, and health monitoring. And we wanted to address a gigantic global market where trillions are lost every year due to some of these diseases that you see here. So it would be pretty cool if there was a technology that could predict and help prevent all of this suffering and save billions of dollars in healthcare costs. So we created a platform called Sentinel. This is a solution and a medical device technology platform that has the ability to monitor the whole cardiovascular system using only non-invasive data and measurements combined with advanced mathematical models. Now, we've gotten pretty far since then. Today, Sentinel is a game changer in how we treat and monitor diseases. It can detect, predict, and signal complex conditions and diseases. It can simulate and advise doctors in almost any operation. It can simulate correct and targeted medication. And it can monitor overall health condition at all times. We created a product family of 4 verticals: surgical tools for pre and post operation simulation, wearable applications for continuous health monitoring at home after operations. We can also foresee and simulate the effects of new and existing drugs under different clinical situations. So we're about to create a pharmaceutical tool. And we also do teaching tools, surgical simulation for training of medical personnel. Now this is a screen dump of the pre-surgical tool. Now, I'm not going to go into detail here, but this is not a beta version. This is up and running and working real time. Here you see a patient pre-surgery, and we can clearly see where the patient will have complications during surgery on the body shot on the left-right corner. So in short, the company offers a multi-channel revenue stream targeting hospitals, doctors, and the private market. It targets a global $1 trillion market. It's a very experienced team. 15 PhDs working on this, 30 people in total right now. Clinical evaluations are ready and conclusive. The FDA and C applications process are ongoing. And the company has multiple patent pendings today. And the first product for pre-surgery evaluation is ready to launch. We're waiting for FDA and C to be approved. The company has raised about 7 million euros. And normally a company like this would have spent in the vicinity of 60 to 70 million dollars. So that was the short story of Dextera. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
We have Paul Bråten and Håkon Egborn reporting up here, and as well reminding pictures from Impact 2 and 3 who have not reported, including Impact 3, which is Sweden. Please come up here and report to the pitch administrator.
Next on stage is Susanna Hart with Tripod House. Thank you. Tripod House is game-changing the way we build houses by making them more safe and sustainable. We have a scalable B2B business model in a fast-growing market.
Ned.
Next. Thank you.
Ned-knappen.
Okay, thank you. There is a huge need for resilient and climate-neutral buildings. Natural disasters affect 217 million people every year. And policymakers, insurance companies, bankers, communities, they all look for safer ways to build houses. This very unique house is very beautiful, and it's very cost efficient and comes in 3 different sizes for 3 different climate zones. All the houses have a very strong structure. It can deal with extreme storms, flooding, and earthquakes. It promotes or it produces food and its own energy. It promotes well-being, and it's very suitable for off-grid living or urban planning. So these houses are resilient to extreme weather. They produce their own energy, and they are they offer amazing living spaces. The team consists of a serial founder, a serial inventor, an architect. We have both entrepreneurial and exit experience, and also climate risk competence. We are also focused on understanding deeply the architecture, and we have our own philosophy. Our traction, we started in 2017, and we are already included as a part of 2 research projects, one in EU and one in Norway. That gives us a first mover advantage, and we have a perfect product market fit. Our revenue comes from licenses and royalties, and we're going to use blockchain and smart contracts to make this rollout quickly and secure. So we want to innovate in the construction sector. We are looking for $5 million, and we think about doing a trade exit, not so far down the road. So if you have any other questions or anything, feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susanne. Next on stage is Paul Bråten and Toe Circle.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the energy revolution. I'm going to tell you a story about a company that is actually solving the climate problem. 50% of the world's energy today is lost as heat, and that problem hasn't really been solved. Why? It's because that heat consists of steam being used in the industry processes, and it contains water. And the big companies have been able to solve the problem with water destroying turbines. We have solved it. In our first application, we're saving 50% of the energy consumption. And we're actually reducing, we're completely shutting down the fossil energy source because we're recycling what's in the system already. Thereby we save 70% of the CO2 emission. It looks like this. It's the little brown thing on the top. The rest is industrial low IP products, but we make the brain and the heart of the system. This is an industrial heat pump, which is able to move 5 megawatts per hour. It's a huge system, and it can fuel most industry processes. This is now being tested in our plant in Norway. It's going to the customer later this year. And only with one of those installations, we can actually take out the CO2 emissions from 8,000 cars. It looks like this. This is from a process making chips, potato chips. EU has supported us. And our Dutch partner, Dyni, has almost 200 plants in their system waiting for the solution. And each of these will be equipped with a €2 million installation. We have good traction. We have the ongoing pilot. We're going to install it later this year. It's been a 15-year trip to make this work. It's very complicated technology, but it's working, and we're going to launch later this year. So we need to build a supply chain and sales. How can we scale this fast? Well, it's 200 plants times 2 million euros, so it's 400 million euro who have expressed the wish to make this investment once it's working. Thank you. So last slide, we need to scale this company up. We have spent about close to 30 million euro now, and we need another 10 to go commercial. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Håkon Eggemoen and Answer Technologies.
So Answer Technologies, we deliver software to solve a major and growing communication problem within mission critical communications. In critical situations, it's absolutely crucial to get timely information, relevant information, in order to do proper decision making. The problem is characterized typically by an urgent need, visual information, photos and video. It often happens remotely, so there might not be available networks, so it also has to rely on satellite communications. We have so far raised in excess of 5 million euros in R&D funding. We have about 1.5 million euros in product sales so far. We're cash positive. Our business model is based on recurring subscriptions and profit sharing with the satellite service providers. We have a asking of about 2 million euros. With that, we will increase the recurring revenue to 1.5 million euros annually. And we believe with that we have a secure path to 50 million euros in 5 years. Now we have a special situation here because we have already an opportunity with Seraphim Capital in London, together with Innovators. However, we do miss a Norwegian new chairman, to manage that investment. So if that's any one of you, or if you know a candidate, please come and talk to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next on stage is Be Safe with Rick Larsen.
Thank you. 1 in 5 women over the age of 18 years are raped or attempted rape in Norway. Everybody of you have 2 or 3 persons close to you as friends and families who have been raped or attempted rape. Sexual assault happens each 92 seconds in the US, and that's what we have done something with. We are creating a safer community. We have developed an app called Be Safe with features to avoid sexual assault from happening. You can enable an alarm at your phone, even with your voice. So even if your phone is in your purse or in a jacket, you can enable the alarm. You can warn your friends and family that something is about to happen. They can see and hear everything what happened there and then through live streaming in the BeSafe app. They get your location, they can track you, and everything is recorded for later use in court. We have additional features like follow me and fake call that can get you out of threatened situation if something happens. We have also developed alarm central for police and for cities. Actually, right now, I have been in the US for the last 3 years. I'm going to Wilmington City, one of the most dangerous cities in the US. Have a meeting with the chief of police at Friday to decrease the crime rate in Wilmington. We are also in negotiations with college campuses abroad the United Nations. The most exciting thing with the BeSafe is the integration of rideshare. We are right now integrating rideshare apps like Uber, Lyft, Bolt, and Grab. It means that you can be safe during the ride with the BeSafe app. We are looking for 1.2 million in funding. We have a great team. Trond Ribe Knudsen is one of our members. We have the famous lawyer, Jon Christian Elden, in our team. If you want to know more about investment and more about BeSafe, please visit dealflow.no. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Next is Sebastian Riesbakken with Geomech.
Thank you. So Geomech provides a game-changing new software service to greatly increase oil recovery in a greener way. We have long industry experience. Here you see our Chief Technology Officer, which is actually one of the world's leading experts on this kind of field. Tons of publications, several tech awards, really one of the best guys at this field. So the challenge we are working with is something called injection leakages, which is caused by a lack of knowledge, understanding what the data means. For the operators, this means a huge wasted production potential. What Geomech has done with this is to create this real-time monitoring system where we take the data that already exists and convert them into instant knowledge, allowing the operators to produce more and leak less. In this kind of market, we are the first mover with this concept. We have several pending patents protecting this. This is software, so it's super scalable. Today, we are making money on a recurring revenue model. We are earning about $500,000 per well per year. We are also going to launch a really exciting commission-based model for different markets where we take a cut of the profit. Even with a very modest market share of just a few hundred wells, there's some great net profit potential here. We have been in business for several years. We started as consultants, built up a huge customer base. In 2014, we launched our software service, and we became the market leader of disposal operations here in Norway. The last years, we have been working with this technology to take it to the even larger markets of pressure support and fracking, which are gigantic markets. So we now believe that the timing is right to scale up in this industry. So we are raising 10 million NOK to accelerate growth in USA and the Middle East. We expect to do a trade sale exit, most likely to one of these oil companies. Thank you.
Thank you. Please welcome next on stage Nasim Rizvi with Halal Baby Food.
May we kindly ask all speakers to be ready at stage.
Thank you for inviting me. I was invited to tell my story, my journey. To need, to think, to dream, and then just do it. That is how it should be done. And in fact, I just described what I've done in only 7 words. My name is neither Anne, Mari, or Katrine, but I have a name that sounds strange. And being a woman with 2 cultures to relate to, it's not always as easy in a society where men, admit it or not, is favored in many contexts. And something even worse, I'm a Muslim. And upon all this, I have 5 children. So there is nothing that makes it possible for me to do something big outside the walls or the 4 walls in my house. But why not start doing something inside these walls then? I had an idea, just like many of you also have. I worked a little bit on it, and I knew that this is something I just have to do. I didn't know how, but I will do it. Apart from missing halal baby food in the grocery shelves, I realized that I was excluded as a potential customer. This exclusion was a signal that I am not a part of my own society. I found out that none of the baby food producers had any plans to produce any kind of halal baby food. So why not just do it by myself? I have 4 daughters and 1 son, and I'm very proud of having 4 daughters. In the Quran, there are some verses about the importance of valuing daughters and how strong women are. My 4 daughters became a strength, and the desire to do something new, something different, which my girls can be proud of, began to grow. And with Islam and the Quran's guidelines in hand, I also got the courage to do something I knew could challenge the male and mullahs-dominated society. I got the strength to oppose mullahs and anyone else who wants to place women and mothers into specific places in one community and inside the home. I decided that I'll just do it. How? I had no idea, but my dream and my will was there. So I wanted to produce halal baby food. I didn't want to ask anyone, but I want to do it myself. So what role does it play then that I am a Muslim, a woman, and I have children? So I'm sure many of you are thinking, OMG, how does she manage all this? She has 5 children. And this is a question I get very, very often. But I often wonder, why do not men get that question? But that would be another discussion. Okay. I made a list of my network without being aware of it. I had a great network, which is actually there for being used. As I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I have to have a structure and also be creative and have the same time to have courage to continue where others might stop. So I began to set goals and for when things were to be concretized and realized. The most important goal of that time was to have a good business plan. And if you work well with it, it's an important tool and an indication of a good project. The business plan is not only important for yourself, but also to everyone else who have to consider your project. So there was much to think about. I had so many questions, I had so many demands to myself and the project. And how should I work on this without telling anyone that I want to produce halal baby food? Where does the limit go to keep an idea secret when you're searching for the right channels, expertise and capital? 3.5 minutes?
5.
Okay.
No, you have to end because you have 3.5 minutes.
Oh,
You
sorry.
said you have 3 minutes.
Sorry, I was not ready.
No, 3.5 minutes.
Okay, it's okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. The next speaker is Haran Adnakar.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Do you like math? Yeah? Raise your hands. Math is fun. Yes, math is a part of a larger picture. Math is a pair of glasses to see and interpret the world with. That's why I'm working too much with math. who I am. Matematikkhjelperen. You can Google who I am, because I have no time to introduce myself now. So just Google me, Hanan, Matematikkhjelperen, and you will find a lot about me. What is my mission in word? Yes, it's to create the 3 M's: motivation, mastery, and magic in math. That's why I'm working, for example, with one of the biggest competition. I'm the project manager for one of the biggest competition in Norway in mathematics called the Marathon of Math. Maybe your kids have heard about it, maybe someone who had heard about it. With my colleagues who found the idea for 10 years ago. I'll give you some key numbers here. Over more than 55 million tasks in mathematics digital, and we had 180,000 students in all Norway, and we had more than 2 million kilometers. If you are curious and you want to know more about the Marathon of Math, just contact me, because it's a really big and nice project and the biggest competition in Norway. Why I'm doing this? Because in addition to this, I'm a social entrepreneur, matematikkhjelperen, and I am a math teacher educator. I am on Snapchat, helping people every day, and students and parents with math tasks. So I have math tattoos. And I'm working to educate math teachers in Norway. So why I'm doing this? Why? Because I am really passionate about creating skills, motivation, reflection, fellowship, inspiration, learning, and curiosity in maths. Because in 2019, we can no longer do percentage tasks with socks and jackets. Soon we have to teach the pupils, our classes, to calculate percentage plastic in the sea and how much energy we are able to provide with nuclear power plants. So it's my mission. If you are curious about me, what I'm doing, because I'm working all over Norway with mathematics and everywhere, so just contact me, and maybe you can get this t-shirt from me today, the Marathon of Math t-shirt, and it's really big competition in Norway, and we need financing for this competition if we can fortsätta to have it without paying for all students in Norway. So just contact me, please. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for this first session of Impact. I myself think that here is something definitely you should think about investing in. We're now moving to the next impact, which is the Angel Challenge Impact. And those startups from this impact which are going to present, please, we ask you all to be here on the left side of stage, so you are ready to rock from stage. I have the great pleasure then to invite the chairman of Business Angel Norway, Åsmund Mandal, on stage. I believe that you are going to open the session, and we need some help as well from you with the sticks. So let's start, gentlemen. Åsmund, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. We will present to you a selection of 10 startups. Fortunately, 3 of them has had reasons to not come here tonight or today. But nevertheless, these companies have been selected from a process that we have in the Nordic Angel Program, starting off with 127. And we are now announcing those who actually came among the 10. Yesterday we spoke about those winners, but we had the opportunity to present all 10 today. So we start with. So, Cycle.
Magnus?
Can the companies please come up here so we can put you in the right order? All right.
Okay, then we take number 2, Mariba, and we come back to Psycho.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think I will take you to Africa because I haven't heard so much this afternoon. In the morning, we were lucky to have some presentations from Kenya. Now, Mariba, which, can I have the clicker, please? Thank you. All right, Mariba simply means help them. Now, our core mission is to help artisans across sub-Saharan Africa with solutions such as training them in simple customer relations and also helping them with bookkeeping. But more importantly is the issue of jobs. We've heard now and then that donors are putting so much money training a lot of artisans across the continent so that they can quickly get employed afterwards. Now, our study has shown that a majority of these artisans, even after they've been trained, they cannot find jobs. And the simple reason is lack of access. So, our study that we conducted, we realized that about 85% of artisans on the continent currently work below 50% of their capacity. So I can put this in context. If a carpenter, for instance, can make 10 of these tables, at the moment they make less than 5 of them in a week. And then we ask, what is the reason why they are not able to create more tables? It turns out that most of the artisan concentration are in the peri-urban areas, and then you have the gated communities where the posh people live. But this is where you find the jobs. So we're saying, how do we unlock the access for these artisans to first of all make a decent living for themselves and their family, and also contribute to the economy? Because there's this large movement of the informal sector being formalized into the mainstream economy to get things done.
50 seconds left.
So we started developing a system that looks like this. So later on you can also screen, but our system is unlocking opportunities for artisans across Africa. But we have, as you can see, we have 12.5% of artisans across the continent are not getting jobs. And we're saying that how do we help these 53 million people on sub-Saharan Africa to get jobs? So please, we are currently looking to enter into Nigeria market. We are in Ghanaian market. We'll be going to Uganda after Nigeria. And we're looking for only $200,000 US to push our marketing.
All right.
So if you have any questions, you can ask me afterwards. Thank you very much.
It is difficult to do 2 minutes. Hike is the next one, 2 minutes sharp. I will cut you off.
Hello everybody, good to see you all. We are paving the way to a more sustainable future by creating a service that makes car sharing effective. Where do I point? Okay. So the number of shared cars is increasing every day, and it's going to keep increasing. But the problem that every service faces is that their cars are standing still most of the time, and they're driving mostly alone. So we wonder, is it really the solution to just push out more shared cars? We think not. So, sorry, I just lost the script completely.
It's okay, go ahead. No problem.
So what we're doing is we're creating a service where the cars are used much, much more. And we believe that if we can combine several segments, like the commuter market, the housing communities, and the businesses, and even the taxi services, then we can have a much, much higher utilization.
So we are developing this platform that uses mobility data and machine learning to combine these different market segments. And we're doing this to make sure that the cars aren't standing still 80% of the time, which is common for shared cars. We currently have a pilot running that is generating revenue. Half minute, okay. And we have interest from major car manufacturers. So we're expecting an exit within 3 years. We're starting a pilot together with several property on the 1st of July to test this multi-market model. Yes, and in parallel we're building this platform to that is not going to serve just our fleets, but also other fleets and private cars. Thank you very much.
Next one, switcher, Simon, come on, 2 minutes.
Okay, we have created the platform where everybody can own a solar panel in a large-scale solar power plant. And like this, you can own one of these solar panels. So the millennials in Europe, there are 140 million millennials in Europe. And 70% of these, they want to invest more in sustainability, but they have nowhere to go. Because real estate, it's kind of worrying. The stock market, it's really, really scary. And their savings accounts, it doesn't happen anything on the savings accounts. So we provide the users on the platform a 6% return on their investments into solar panels. And they can always follow the production of energy on the platform itself and their impact they're making for the environment. We are seeking 0.5 million euros today, and we will need additionally around 5 to 10 million euros the coming years to succeed and scale to the European market. We will use this money mainly for marketing and developing of the platform. On board, we have a really experienced team with a combined experience of 75 years in the solar energy market. And we have a business model which is scalable, and we take revenue we have a recurring revenue in our business model, and we operate it in the rapidly growing solar energy market. So we're actually we're revolutionizing the energy market by taking the power from the corporations back to the people to make a real impact. Thank you.
All right. Justine, market development.
Thank you. Now over to something completely different. Okay. After working in retail companies for the last 20 years, we saw an opening to help smaller retailers to work better and with digital tools. Down. They said down. Sorry? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Good. So, with our digital solution, we are changing how the businesses do their work. In an industry that is very traditional, they still print big catalogs, they go door to door with products, and lots of trainings, meetings, and lots of time spent on traditional ways. Nothing wrong with that, people make good money on it, but we need to extend the reach of information and help out with the process. We've done this by helping brands reach their customers, both new and potential. We gather information about news, products, trainings, catalogs, and we can do easily ordering through the system. And in this way, we also help the small businesses easily find information, and they can also do manual tasks much easier, and so they can use their time differently. We also offer analytics that will give them guidance in a busy day-to-day job. Together with my team, we are working outside Oslo, and our primary market now is Scandinavia. And our first target market is the professional hair and beauty industry. This is an industry where 80% of the businesses are small and medium-sized, not with chain benefits and structure. But still, there are big corporations in here that need help. They are very good at their products and at their trade, but with AI and modern technology, it hasn't come this far yet. So we're trying to make a difference and help out with it. We have been working with industry, so they have actually delivered our information about their everyday routines, and we've been able to sit and work with both sides of the table for a couple of years. And so what we did also a pilot in Denmark and Norway before we built the solution that is in the market today. The industry itself is a high-growing market, and it has been even in difficult times, and people can't cut their hair on the internet. That's the cost. And it's also an industry that is struggling to make profits, and they are eager to run a professional business. With brands like our first pilots, it's easier for us to scale also across borders. Thank you. We are open for trade exit within 5 years, but if it takes longer, we are here to help and build a sustainable business. See, down. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kristin. Could I please call Victor Isaacson and Mr. Carlson to come to the pitch table?
Right. So, those were the top cases of Nordic Angel Program. It's batch number 3, organized by the Business Angels Norway. Just rounding off that little section, saying that we do this 4 times a year together with the Finnish, Estonian, Danish Angel programs. It is not Angel Challenge that was mentioned here, but it's Nordic Angel Program, presenting the best cases as chosen by 30, 40 business angels. Now, the Nordic Angel Program number 4 is coming up also.
Okay, the Nordic Angel Program number 4 is starting in September, and we are inviting startups to apply to participate in that program. The program will last for about 3 months. We will actually in the program train investors or angels, where we are using, resources from the Oslo area and others, with competence in what do you need to know to invest in a startup. So the program starts in September. We are expecting, as we've had on the first 3 programs, around 150 startups that will then end up, as we've seen here, in awarding a prize and investing in the top 3.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have a very short break of about 3 minutes until we continue with the Swedish third impact. Let's have some music.
And now, as you all know, I heard an applause to that. I like that. As you all know, we have to go a bit greener. And we're using the experiences from all of the other brands that you saw there. I think you know some of them. They're all true globals, and they have expanded pretty fast. If you look back 10 years from now, they weren't there. So we're using that experience and also the money from the entrepreneurs that have been part of that travel, investing them into new, fantastic bioeconomy companies. We will be presenting companies here today, and by that I will let you go with your pitches. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Next pitcher is Viggo Wistrom with Gozo.
Thank you so much. So Gozo is the paradigm shift of HR. We show managers how to invest in their employees so that they can increase well-being and profit from it. So we have a team with drive, and we have the skills and experience combined to make a great success. We have 20 plus years of sales experience, sales management, but also previous exit experience. And we're also backed by 3 different Swedish incubators and by some prominent Swedish scientists in the fields of occupational health and economics. We're a first mover on a fast-growing global market, which is growing in every segment. And this is evident when we are in different customer meetings. Companies want to digitize their work with employee well-being. So imagine yourself being a CEO of a large corporation. Wouldn't you want to know if the money that you spend in your employees' well-being, if it's impactful and spent efficiently? I sure would, which is why we have developed Gozo. Gozo is a scalable cloud application that is based on a data-driven analysis. We are there with the organization's leaders from the first survey to the outcome of the performed interventions. And we also help them with performing surveys and suggest activities and visualize the cost and impact that they have on their employees using our unique health economic algorithms. We have had great traction with some very prominent brands that are currently signed to our subscription model with recurring revenues. And we're currently looking to raise 500,000 euros, where 200,000 is already committed. And we want to expand our sales team to increase our speed in Sweden in preparation for our internationalization. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the stage is Arne Lindström with Orust Ebot.
Thank you. Nice to be here, and especially when I'm representing the new Gamechanger, the new Strana electric boat, and it's coming from Orust. And this market is huge. This is a $20 billion in the 2027. So now I will recommend you can invest 10 million Norwegian krone. It's IP protected. It's the electric boat that is scalable and is in the e-commerce market. So why should you do it? It can be worth 1 billion in 3, maybe up to 5 years. So it's time to redefine boating. 100% electric, 100% recharging. Why do we go out with a boat? We have an optimized design technology in an electric boat with high margins. As Sven-Erik told us in Trollhättan, saw how they have built a car. Now we can build boats in a very good way with high margins. So this is designed for a sustainable, circular economy. It means we can earn money in many ways. It's a social platform for an affordable price. We already have big customers who want to buy our electric boats in the new sharing and boat and pole market. So this is a guiding star for a sustainable economy, lifestyle at sea. Orust Ebot, as I told you, is a game changer with a new economy, profitable and sustainable fossil-free electric boat. The modern people, they like to enjoy the nature. They go out and rent and hire boats They don't need to earn them all the time. The market is huge. It should be several stone boats in each harbor. And okay, so it passed 10 minutes. This is that. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. This is the winning team in the world. The world champs. There are chairman of electric vehicles in the car in Sweden. There are the e-commerce specialists. It's all of a winning team. So we will just thank you very much and come to me and you will earn money. Come.
Thank you, Anna. Next up is Claes Fredriksson with Liquid Wind.
Imagine a future when this challenge is actually an opportunity. That's what we do every day, and that's our market potential. And the solution we have is to use wind to make liquid fuel and thereby replacing fossil fuel and reducing CO2 emissions. We have good traction. We started a company about 2 years ago. We then searched the entire world to find the best companies that can do this together. We found one in Norway, 2 in Denmark, 1 in England, and 1 in Switzerland. And that's the team you see on the left there. That's what we call a consortium. Most of them also invest into our company. Next up, we did a crowdfunding this year. People say we couldn't do it in an infrastructure business, but we did, and it was fantastic to see the response. And next up, we're then going for more funding and getting to what we call a final investment decision to build the first plant. Here's our team within our company and the companies that we work with, the consortium that have about 350 odd years of experience. We are looking today for 1.6 million euros. We've raised about 500,000 and we're waiting for another 1 million from our partners. And that will take us to the FID. And then once we build our factories, they will generate about 30 million euros annually. And the EBIT will actually, the EBITDA will be 5 million and not 30 million as it says there. Then we can scale from there. So we'll build one factory, we'll learn how to do it, we'll digitize it, we have digital twins as we call them. We build a couple of more plants in Scandinavia, and then we take on the world. We need this everywhere. We think there's a market for 25,000 plants. Each plant is about 100 million euros. So it's rather big business. And the time to invest in the climate is now, and the company to invest in is Liquid Wind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is Robert Mertens with Moringo.
Can I also ask Thomas Agerup to report to the pitch table, please? Thomas Agerup.
Hi everyone, how many here are sailing or using motorboats for visiting marinas along the coast? Alright, there are a few. Well, you will then understand the impact our business will make for the future of boating. Alright. Well, okay, go back. Alright, thanks. Yeah, alright, this, our team has experience both in boating, but marketing, innovation, and also product development. What we are addressing is a very common problem to all boaters, and that is that they feel a very big uncertainty on the vacancy status on the destinations they are going for, and there is no one who has solved this problem before. But we have made a game-changing solution where we are using satellite data to predict vacancy, both in marinas and anchorages all over the world. And this is so exciting that the European Space Agency has donated 50,000 euros and a seat at their business incubation center in Sweden to get this product launched. We're the first mover, and we expect to be fully global in 3 years. This is a perfect for global scalability as satellite data is, and also as boating is. We are looking for 400,000 euros for 20% of the company. And we have our exit strategy is to sell to a industrial partner within 3 to 5 years. We are now partnering with partners with ESA, University of Gothenburg, and the Swedish Agency for Water and Maritime Management. If you want to talk boating, the future of boating, come talk to me, I'm over there. Thanks.
Thank you, Robert. Next up is Deborah Ligunis with Friendbase.
According to the organization Friends, more than 50% of teenagers today experience having been bullied or threatened online. As a game developer, I say this is not good, we can do better. So, by combining sticky and fun games with educational quizzes and an underlying chat filter, in addition, we also have research into gamification and AI, where we will develop the next generation of tools where we can reward good behavior and not just only ban bad behavior. So by combining these 4 cornerstones, we create Friendbase, a vibrant world that's available on web, iOS and Android for teens across the globe. We're an experienced team, serial entrepreneurs, multilingual, and with a collective experience in the gaming industry of more than 80 years. If you add to that as well that we have Stefan Lampinen as our senior advisor, with experience being the managing director from EA, Warner Brothers, and also mentor for Minecraft, we feel as if we have a good team and set to go. Our test platform has been tested vigorously, and we had 600,000 downloads and memberships signed up. Teenagers across the world, 13 to 16 years, and 60% girls, which we think is amazing. Our biggest markets today are Brazil, India, Philippines, etc. And this is what we want to continue to build on. So $500,000 to scale, localized versions, talk to me, come join us, impact business, cash cow, I'll be over there as well. Thank you.
Next up is Christina Löwenström with Satgram.
But before Christina goes on stage, I'd like to invite our 2 companies from Lithuania and from Moldova to report up here, as well as Roberta and Anna. Please come report to the pitch table. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We are Septagram. We want to become the Nasdaq of music rights. 1985, Michael Jackson bought the Beatles catalog for $47.5 million. 2016, this catalog was sold for $1.5 billion. Michael Jackson, he owned the mechanical rights, and Paul McCartney owned the artistic rights, and we as Septagram are going to trade the mechanical rights. A publisher has always been trading music IPs among themselves without benefits for the composers. And it has been a closed market where you as a private person don't have access to this market. So we at Septagram, we want to, with a blockchain-based solution, we want to open up this market and invite new customers into the market and create transparency, decentralization to the platform. So we do two things. We tokenize music and we create a SEPTA coin. So we generate an income through commission fees and transaction fees. We believe we will have 30 million users within 5 years, and we will be profitable the first year. So we are two founders in this company. We have a 30 years music background with multiple Grammy nominations, and we have great partners in Gemechanger and Unbiased, Almen, Västra Götaland, a lot of great partners. So this is important because in a world where the recipe of Coca-Cola is more valuable than the factory, in the future where we all will have 3D printers in our homes, IPs will become very valuable. And we believe this is like a wave. You can either be drowned by it or you can surf on it. And we are going to surf on it. Surf with us.
Thank you. Next up is Johan Karlberg and Henkel.
Ladies and gentlemen, Henkel gives you the next revolution within the agtech sector. First came the plow, then the milking robot, and now the Henkel system for smart meat production. We are targeting the huge global beef market with a net worth of 250 billion euros a year. The global demand is growing, and new disruptive technology will be the only solution to be able to produce in a more sustainable way, focusing on increased animal health and with lower environmental impact. We saw and we learned that stakeholders struggles with poor profitability. The main reason for that is the lack of measuring and weighing in real time. We are solving this by digitalizing the entire chain of stakeholders with the use of new technology like IoT, sensors, AI, and big data, which will increase profitability up to 30%. We have a commercial proof of concept with substantial profit increase, a scalable SaaS solution, paying customer, a subscription model, recurring revenues, traction. Yes, we are a first mover, we are changing the industry. On top of that, we have a very talented team with highly qualified, excellent skills from sales to exit, making this scale-up happen. Join our journey and invest in the next Swedish tech unicorn. We will raise 15 million SEK, that's approx 1.5 million euros, in round one, which we started last week. We still have a couple of million left, so please talk to me and my colleagues who are out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johan. Next up is Carl Rumlin and Drinor.
Thank you so much. That's good to have. All biomass refinery processes have a big problem. The biomass contains water. This is significant in our initial market, the wood pellet industry. The drying operation, as you see up here, represents half of the cost when producing wood pellets. This is also the bottleneck of the production. We have a solution. Our mechanical dewatering press squeeze out half of the water before the rest is evaporated. This reduces cost and also increases capacity in existing mills. Dragnor was founded in 2016. The same year we received financing from the Swedish Energy Agency to build the industrial pilot. 2017 this project was carried out. And in 2018 we installed the industrial pilot at the pellet mill in Sweden, where we confirmed their operational results. We have traction from the biggest pellet producers in the world, which all have traveled to Älvdalen to see our press. We have performed calculations together with customers from Sweden, from Germany, from North America, and concluded that the return on investment of such an installation is below 2 years. The market is rapidly growing, as you saw, but we have managed all this with a really small team. An efficient team. The owner has put in the cash and we have worked our asses off. And the next step for us is to scale the company. That's why we seek 600,000 euros here today. Around that we have covered a big part of, but I want to see if there's any other good fit for us, because a big important thing here is that we have right experience with the money. Right now, as I speak, the industrial pilot is it's installed in Denmark, where we confirm the operational data. And next year we install the first machine in a series of 5, all to paying customers. And 2021 we see a big potential for an exit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, thank you. And as well, thank you so much to the Ambassador of Sweden and our great partner from Sweden present today, who have actually brought all these great startups from all over to Innovatum in Trollhättan and to Sting Bioeconomy. Thank you very much, Sven-Erik and Victor as well. Now it's time to move a little bit more eastbound. We're moving even across the Baltic Sea. And I'm very happy to introduce the one who's going to do the introduction to the next ICPAC, because these are great startups. Not only from the Baltics, but actually from Lithuania. And I'm very happy to introduce the head of Startup Lithuania, Roberta Rodokiene. Welcome to Seed for Global.
Hello everyone. It's actually my first time participating in Seed Forum, and I think the timing is perfect, as Lithuanian startup ecosystem is really growing and booming at the moment, and you should all think about looking into this little spot in Europe's map, and I will shortly present you what's happening in Lithuania. So Startup Lithuania is a national startup ecosystem facilitator. That's why I am talking about the whole ecosystem and the changes that happened in the ecosystem. So last year we had really a lot of changes. Our number of startups is growing in Lithuania. We had a record sum of investments that Lithuanian startups attracted, and we had really significant new players that came into our ecosystem. And we have new Minister of Economy and Innovations, and the ministry is really looking into startups and have a lot of great incentives how to make big impacts. And as I mentioned, the number of startups is growing. We are constantly growing. We are trying to count the startups, and at the moment we have more than 600 active startups, as we are quite a small country with 2.8 million people. I think it's quite impressive. Booming sectors, as all over the world, we are similar industries. We are really strong in fintech, and last year about 170 companies, new fintech companies were established in Lithuania or got banking licenses in Lithuania. Mobility, security, cybersecurity, life science startups, and gaming. As I mentioned, we also had a record investment, so Lithuanian startups attracted more than 183 million euros, mostly from non-Lithuanian venture capital funds. The biggest deals is CTB, car sharing platform, Vinted, our one of the longest living world-known startup, maybe you've heard about it, and TransferGo, our best until now fintech startup. New players, as I mentioned, we have the one and only still blockchain center located in Vilnius, which was opened last year. SEB Bank opened their innovation center. We have 2 new governmental accelerators and 1 private that started operating last year. What we really missed until last year and what happened last year, it's a Lithuanian Business Angel Network was established. And I know that they already connected with Nordban, hopefully with Norwegian ban too. At the moment we have about 7 active venture capital funds in Lithuania looking for investments. We also have, we are not only trying to encourage people to create startups in Lithuania, we are trying to attract talents from abroad, and we ourselves administrate Startup Visa program, which is quite successful. We already have 27 startups in 2 years that relocated to Lithuania from non-European countries, and they are developing their innovative businesses in Lithuania. And just last month, I think, we created and started a new program called Startup Employee Visa, which is a streamlined migration procedure for all startups to attract talents to Lithuania from non-European countries. Our main startups event happened just a few weeks ago, so I would really recommend and invite you all next year to visit Lithuania in May. It's really nice year, nice period of the year, spring. Everything is green and nice, and the best event to meet our startups. But of course, if you have more questions, we can talk here during this event. Let's cooperate. Let's work together. We are here. Startup Lithuania is here to help you find the startups, the ideas that you are looking for. And I am very, very happy that today we have here 2 Lithuanian startups. Both of them are fintech startups. And good luck, guys. So we have Businero and H Finance here on stage. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, just to continue, can we have Rift appear, and as well can those participants in Impact session number 8, means Adidas, it means the other guys in number 8, excuse me, Impact session number 6, sorry, that means Adidas, Ian, Teddy and Irfan report over here, thank you.
Thank you. Next on stage is Marius Petrauskas and Businero.
Thank you very much. Let's be honest, investors, you guys, are not motivated enough to invest into startups. Because at least the number of liquidation events in Europe is very, very low. Our solution is Businero. Basically, it's 4 platforms under one roof: investor CRM, startup marketplace, crowdfunding platform and trading platform to create the liquidity. Our platform is designed to protect investors' right to make informed decision and provide tools such as data warehousing for quick and easy due diligence process next slide. We have a couple of competitors, but none of them focus on creating liquidity for the market. We have plenty of ways to earn money on our platform, starting from commission fees, transaction fees, and ending up with licensing solution for countries outside European Union or even different verticals, for example, real estate. The team of Businero is something I am extremely proud of. We went through fire and ice, and 3 words that describes our team the best is honest, hardworking, and hungry. We are looking for 200,000 euros investment from strategic investor who has experience in fintech and finance. Thank you very much. You're a very beautiful audience.
Thank you. Next on stage is Gintartas with Age Finance.
Big financial institutions are investing heavily in crypto. They're doing that because they know that the future of finance is going to be different. And it's not only the future. Already last year, crypto lending was over $2 billion. And it's on the way to double this year. Fintechs like Coinbase, Birex, Abra, and many others, they want to be part of it. They want to be part of lending market. However, to start lending for themselves is super complex. It requires extensive legal setup. It requires a system which to build takes around 12 months, and it requires access to debt capital and lending know-how. So here we come. At Age Finance, we have a solution for that. All that with a simple API integration, which allows these fintechs to start lending in a matter of weeks. And we talked with several of them, and all of them like our solution. We have started this API-based model in the beginning of this year. Soon after, we have signed our first customer, which is working on integration right now. We have got later on investment from Startup-Wise guys, and we aim to sign 10 more by end of this year. We are a team of finance and technology professionals. My co-founders are ex-CEO of SEB Bank in Lithuania, founder of one of the largest peer-to-peer lending platforms in Baltics, and myself with more than 11 years of experience at IBM delivering complex IT solutions. We're doing that because we know that the future of finance is going to be different. We know how to create this future, and we know how to create a leading lending operator in that future. We're looking here for partners, for fintech, crypto fintech partners, and we will be raising around at the end of this year to scale up our operations. My name is Gintas. I am CTO at Age Finance.
Thank you. May I just kindly ask you that the Rift Studio should come up here, and we need as well Algirdas, Ian, Teddy, and those are in the next pitch session as well to be ready on stage here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to you great guys and girls from Lithuania for coming to Seed4 Global. Now it's time for Ian, a little bit more eastbound. Let me introduce to you our Seed4 country manager responsible for the Seed4 Innovation Center I have in Chisinau in Moldova, and two great companies, startups from Moldova. Ladies and gentlemen, Anna Kerita from Chisinau.
Thank you, Stefan. Actually, I was not aware that we should do a presentation, but after following the very nice presentation from Lithuania, even if it's not related to iHub, I want to mention some things about Moldova. How many of you have been to Moldova before? Okay, few, only few. Moldova is a very small country, 3 million people, between Romania and Ukraine, situated between Romania and Ukraine. However, in relation to IT, we have some very good facts. We have 98% coverage of 4G in the country. We have 80% coverage of internet broadband usage overall in the country by population. And we have a very special fiscal regime which has been introduced last year, which is called Moldova IT Park or Virtual IT Park. What does that mean? That means that any company that operates any business anywhere in the world can open a delivery unit or sort of or just a center, and they can benefit of a 7% flat rate tax in a very special regime. Such unique opportunities are actually not really available anywhere around Eastern Europe. Belarus has had some intentions and actually has the Techno Park as an initiative, but we usually say that Moldova is much better in that sense. And that is a fact that in just 1 year, we estimated that we would have only about 80 companies joining this regime. We had last week 419, and there are many more coming. So if anybody ever thinks about opening a business and actually exploring the Eastern Europe, Moldova is definitely one of the places to consider. In terms of iHub and other initiatives that we do, we try to funnel and equip startups with their best knowledge and skills. We also create opportunities and infrastructure for different entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs. We are actually very much related to tech things, so that they can actually find investment. We have succeeded to help 352 teams during the past 3 years, 2.5 years. And 2 of them I hope you'll be enjoying now. That's Riff Studio and that's Cubic. So let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you. So yes, next up is Quentin Rockman with Cubis.
So, thank you. It's my company Cubic has created a commercially proven product to help software developers create back-end systems 4 times faster. I've been creating computer programs for more than 20 years, and in that time I've realized that software developers repeat the same thing over and over again. So I've created Cubic, which is a platform that will help software developers simplify and automate many of those repetitive tasks. And I've since developed more than 10 projects, commercial projects, using Cubic to prove that it's valid. To demonstrate the difference that Cubic make, consider a typical mobile application. This consists of the mobile application itself, as well as a back-end system or content management system. Now, a back-end system typically takes care of user login, user authentication, content management, sending out push notifications, emails, and so on. Now, given a single developer, it usually takes about 6 to 12 months to develop a mobile application. But using Cubic, it will only take about 2 to 3 months. Now, just in salaries alone, that is a saving of at least $20,000. Currently, there are more than 64,000 Microsoft partner companies who may benefit from our platform, Cubic. At $1,000 per enterprise client, that is a potential market of $64 million. Further, there are more than 2,000 GitHub projects, public GitHub projects using similar platforms, and at $10 per month for licensing and support, there is a further potential of $20,000 of monthly revenue. In order to reach these markets, we are looking for an investment of at least $40,000 in an initial stage of our company in order to hire 2 more developers and marketing and sales people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is Dimitri with Rift Studios.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone. Have you ever visited a Don't Touch exhibition? It's like playing with a packed toy. To exclude that, we designed Alice Arcade, the truly immersive exhibition. An exhibition based on a well-known story. One exhibition that travels around the world and makes the visitors travel like Alice. An exhibition of new media art and interactive installations where you can feel, hear, and touch everything you see. How to be appealing? How will the appeal? Why the exhibition will be appealing? Exclude new generation gap. There's new way of self-expression for artists, a new communication between clients and brands and their clients that help their sales like a sniper using by experiential marketing. The entire market, event market, is 1.5 trillion euro. Our niche market is 650,000 billion euro, and we aim at a tiny part, just 20 million euro.
How do you get it? Investment in initial phase, ticket sales, conference fee, artist fee, and of course, sponsorship fee. We already negotiate with 3 sponsors with total amount of 350,000 euro. So, well, how do we exit? The 3 biggest companies on the market have 45 billion capitalization. They buy fast-growing company specialized on advertising and experiential marketing. Our secret formula is mesmerizing startup, our devoted squad, and few perfect investors who give us not just money but also expertise and support. Thank you very much. So let's interact.
So, thank you so much for coming from Lithuania, and thank you so much for coming all the way from Moldova. Now we are waiting for the next one, and in the meanwhile we'll have just music for you. In just 3 minutes, 4 minutes, we will introduce to you the next impact, which is game-changing reverse pitches, which will be introduced by Algirdas Stonis, who was also awarded yesterday from Lithuania, and from his game-changing, I would say, scale-up, which is Telesoftas from Kaunas in Lithuania. So now in 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Until we wait for Algirdas, I just would like to introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention, to one as well, a very important person who has been here all the way from Kazakhstan, from Almaty, right? And Cyrus, what is your ideas now of this part of the world, since you have been to Seed from Global 2019?
Well, I came to say goodbye, and the next thing I know, impromptu. So I'm from LA. Since January, actually, I've been working with a innovation platform in Kazakhstan, trying to modernize industry in Kazakhstan, foster entrepreneurship, create new markets, and you know, I'm an innovator myself. I have a company in LA where we develop HPC systems. So I was never part of a huge global innovation hub, and the more I travel and I go to different places, we realize that there is this common belt globally where we're all trying to achieve the same thing, break down barriers, you know, get entrepreneurs to collaborate, you know, globally. And so here I am in amazing Norway, and I see that that we're all part of the same community, and so we're hoping that we can get Kazakhstan and Central Asia to kind of link to your organization here, and obviously iHub, and see if we can make the world a better place. That's pretty much it.
Well, sorry, thank you very much for coming to Seed from Global, and I personally visited Tech Garden in Almaty several times, and it's as well a fantastic startup nation, so thank you very much for coming. All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Cyrus. All the way from Kazakhstan. We are ready to introduce the next impact, which is going to be introduced by one special guy who has been at least once, maybe twice, and even more, I don't remember how many times, the Entrepreneur of the Year of Lithuania. Ladies and gentlemen, Algirdas Stonis from Kaunas, Lithuania.
Hello everybody! Hey! Are you enjoying the show so far? Hi, okay, so reverse pitching, guys. Maybe I'm gonna tell you a story of myself. My name is Algirdas Stonis, so I'm gonna tell it in the maybe not in a reverse order, but in a historical order. How am I connected to Seed Forum? Actually, well, I run business process outsourcing in Lithuania, so to be exact, software engineering. So we have 200 engineers and we're creating products for other companies. And we are growing ever since 2003. So basically, at I started it from the dormitory. And in 2006, what I have seen that basically the salaries are growing and we can scale, but we don't have a budget for it. So that would be a good opportunity to raise some investment. So me and my brother, we made a business plan, and I couldn't speak English very well at the time, so my brother actually connected Steiner somehow to participate in Seed Forum London 2006. So Telesoftas was the first ever company from Lithuania to be presented in Seed Forum. So back at the time, so basically we were raising, I think, 200,000 euro to hire 30 more engineers in Lithuania, and we would offer some return on investment in 3 years. And you know how much money we have raised? Zero money. And the reason of most investors were like, okay, the outsourcing is good, but you guys, you don't create any intellectual property. And it's risky to invest in your business because you cannot sell it for a very much expensive price. So maybe you need some product. However, our passion was still just engineering. We needed, we were very, very, very money hungry, and then we started to like reverse thinking. Okay, we can raise money, but only if we have product. And then we have created a product called Itemizer 360, and in 2008, I have pitched this product already in Vilnius, because then Steiner came over to Vilnius, and I pitched this product as the very first Seed Forum Lithuania in Vilnius. And you know how much money we raised? Zero. Actually, it was obvious that actually we don't need the money for that product. We just need this money for outsourcing and service business. However, at that time, we were still very, very persistent. And we've been earning money while we were outsourcing, but we were dedicating a little bit of budget, just a tiny amount of our profit, to create this product. And we used the same presentation as we used in Seed Forum to pitch in Switzerland for Index Capital. And it was the first raise of 200,000 euros. We finally raised it in 2010. And that couldn't happen without Seed Forum influence. So, as it was such a great influence, I continued to participate in Seed Forum. And what happened then in 2011, I went to Abu Dhabi and presented a new product that was mobile coupons for the supermarkets and shopping malls. And it was acquired again by Wafi Mall in Dubai. So then again, I was coming and pitching, and actually what the biggest impact that Seed Forum made to me personally was these networks and all those friendships and connections that I received here, and it's just an invaluable source to be a part of Seed Forum, only just to be here and get all these friends here, to be able to participate in the networking. That's the greatest value. So, again, everything continued iteratively. Then, basically at the same, in the very similar concept, companies started to come and make pitches for me already. So in 2012, one English lady and English gentleman, Richard Oliver, they approached my company, and they told me, maybe you want some equity and you can provide programming for a very little price. and then you'll get an equity of our company. So this was Ariso Geo company that was sold for $82 million to a US company. And that's how I became Entrepreneur of the Year and received the award Entrepreneur of the Year in Lithuania. And recently we started a new startup in Bristol, Yellow Dog. It's the largest supercomputer in the world. And now it have raised another 2 million in March. So seed forum experience, guys, in a nutshell. And this year, what me and the board of Telesoftas, what we have decided to create is a Telesoftas business incubator. Is because we have a lot of engineers and we basically can do coding for equity. And if some startups need some good talents and engineers, they can talk to me. I would love to do some programming because this is still my passion. Because we want to become best programmers in the world, and we will continue doing that. And basically, all the coding for equity projects we had have received a great success. So guys, I invite you to come on over and talk to me and have some great fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's great to have you on board, so thank you. Let's give Algis an extra applause. Thank you. The next impact speaker in Seed Forum Global today is one that also traveled far, many traveled far to Oslo to come to Seed Forum Global this year. This is Ian Lauriston, the head of Seed Forum's main partner, or one of the main partners in Eastern Africa, Growth Africa. Ian, the floor is yours.
Thanks, it's great to be here. Also good to finally put Africa on the map as well. So I think that's something will hopefully help us grow a little bit further. So Growth Africa, an accelerator based in Africa, we're headquartered in Nairobi. And with the aim of trying to build a platform that will become Pan-African. So right now we're in Kenya, and then we moved. Yeah, so focused on trying to help and scale post-revenue ventures. We call them ventures because they're a little bit more mature than startups across different industries in the markets we're in. I'm doing that through advice, through trying to connect them with investors, and also trying to help in terms of growing the business skills and the acumen with the entrepreneurs and the leadership included in that. At the moment, 30 employees with offices in these 5 countries being Ethiopia, Zambia, Malawi, and Uganda, plus Kenya. And with a home office in Nairobi, and then local staffed offices with 2 or 3 staff members in the other locations. So trying also to build a setup that is very contextualized and very anchored locally. We are in a market where we have a lot of Western parachuters coming in, where people will come in when there's money and they will leave again when the money has been spent. And we're really trying to build a more anchored model. The idea also is that we will try over time to help the ventures that we work with to be able to scale beyond the domestic market. So with these other offices, the presence, try and help entrepreneurs, for example, in Kenya to grow into Ethiopia using the infrastructure we have there to make it easier to try and expand beyond the domestic market, which is typically one of the challenges that entrepreneurs have locally. We've so far run 19 acceleration programs are running 4 at the moment. Had 368 entrepreneurs come through, 198 ventures that have come through the programs. And these cuts across different industries. So one of the recipes we've seen is that not to do things by industry, but actually try and have the best entrepreneurs in the programs and have the diversity that comes from that, from the learning that comes from peer-to-peer learning among people with a very diverse background. You say what makes us different then, because there's, especially Nairobi being the hub or where the spotlight is on the African continent in terms of innovation. That means that, of course, we have a couple of other organizations that does acceleration as well, or incubation, these two terms being interchanged often at the moment. So the things that separate, so puts us apart, is the fact that we are anchored and contextualized, so we're trying to build local solutions. We're also trying very much to rely on local staff and not have a lot of expatriates, which is what we see with some of our peers. We're trying to build innovation around what could be a sustainable revenue model. So taking some stakes in the ventures that come through our program. And then we're trying to build out a multi-location setup, whereas most of our competitors are single location entities and have the challenge that comes with scaling on that. We have, as another piece, that one of the parts that we invested heavily in is building our own content and methodology to build a process and not build a content that would take the entrepreneurs through a very structured process, where we see often is the case is that there isn't necessarily a content or a structure for what the programs are. So the programs tend to be an empty box with some of our competitors, which is not the case of what we're trying to do. So it's also trying to have a process and a tool that in a very structured manner can be scaled across locations and can be scaled further than we're right now. These are a bit of the results. Our focus is on impact and job creation as the core piece that we're trying to drive at. You can say we don't have our own investment funds at the moment, so we're very much relying on the ability to try and connect the right investors to the ventures that come through our program, which is always one of the core challenges and one of the things of being here is to try and see what could there be of linkages and network that could be relevant for the entrepreneurs that we work with. So if we look at what we're looking at, I think there's always an interest in looking at partners who can help either the entrepreneurs, and that typically would then be in the investment space, or who have assets or resources that would be relevant for Growth Africa in terms of streamlining and improving our activities and the resources and systems that we have, and will make it able to deliver better services to the entrepreneurs that we work with and support. Thank you very much.
Ian, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a great opportunity to work with you in Eastern Africa. We have as well another partner of Seed Forum from Ethiopia. This is Teddy Araya, all the way from Addis Ababa. And we can actually see where you're coming from, Teddy. Welcome to Seed Forum Global. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to use my tablet. So, my name is Teddy Araya. I'm directly going to tell you what we do with Seed Forum in Norway, because I believe most of the things we do, you can see it from our website, and I'm from Addis Ababa. I see a couple of colleagues here from Addis Ababa, and one of them just popped into our office a couple of weeks ago. So, but here's my message for all of you today. Africa is a continent of small business owners, startups, and entrepreneurs. Whether it is the informal or formal sector, mid-sized technology companies, small retail chains, or the man and woman selling homemade garments on streets, from Tunis to Johannesburg, from Freetown to Addis Ababa and Nairobi, from Dakar, Accra, Cotonou, N'Djamena, Harare, and absolutely everywhere in between, we are traders. And every one of those traders began their own journey as a startup. Through necessity, they all learn the hard way, by trial and error, how to source stocks, find customer market, and market their products and grow a business that can sustain for life. For the majority, it is agricultural produce. The men and women you see on our streets carrying bananas, cassava, fufu, maize, nuts, injera, cocoa, kodo, jabo, over their heads or shoulders are all startups. But here is the thing. Being an entrepreneur, starting from scratches to create a brand new enterprise, this is something we've done in Africa for hundreds of years. The concept of the startups is not a new thing in Africa. We all know how to start our dreams because our parents did it, their parents did it, and so did theirs. It is in our DNA. The challenge every African startup will inevitably face is how to grow, invest, hire, and diversify into new markets or territories. I'm glad I have a couple of witnesses here. How to access foreign markets that are protecting their own interests. Tariffs are no good for African startups. So here's my question. A very honest, a very bold, a very blunt question. Does Europe and its investors yet see the opportunity in African startups? Do you see the intrinsic value and opportunity in our demographic dividend? Is Europe, indeed are any of the developed economies actually up for the challenge of investing so that African entrepreneurs move their produce from above their heads and shoulders on street corners to shining shop windows like yours? Now, for the first time in history, Africa has the largest youth population, and its diaspora has never been more prepared or ready to support its people. More than ever before, African startups need help. We need help. And I am not talking about a handout, the kind of help that we all are used to, that we all know. I am talking about a leg up. Hundreds of millions of young people with bold ambition, ideas, and startups. Enormous opportunity for their trade, investments, and the opening of international market. Can Europe, for example, look at its tariff barriers to African countries that protect the EU's single market to the disadvantage of the developing world? Can you lobby for that? Can you be a voice for the voiceless entrepreneurs in your capital cities? Conclusion. This afternoon, I dare you to see things from a different or this perspective. Are you willing to help the world's largest youth cohort realize its dreams? Will you help us access your market? And as well, have access to your finances in which or from which you later on will harvest. Your colleagues have been telling you about some of the great opportunities that Africa can offer. Will you help us access your market? Will you help us accelerate? Will you help us put our businesses from our shoulders and heads onto the ground and accelerate? You call it accelerate. Can you help us accelerate? Because we know how to start. Are you willing to change the narrative of our beautiful continent through entrepreneurship and innovation in partnership with us? This is what we are doing at Seed Forum and Norway. This is what we do. Through our Global Entrepreneurs Exchange program, where we exchange entrepreneurs between Nairobi, Bogota, Addis Ababa, and Oslo. We are opening up opportunities, sharing ideas and experience, coming together as equals so that we can all reap the rewards of the incredible opportunity inherent in African startups. This is time for Africa. Thank you so much. And my name is Theodros.
Thank you for coming all the way from Addis Ababa to Oslo. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor as well to introduce other very interesting person in the Seed Forum world, also awarded last night, the Seed Forum representative to Western Balkans, with also other tasks to do in the Seed Forum world, Mr. Irfan Polimak. And I would say, for the time being, from Paris.
Thank you so much, Steinar. Greetings to everyone. Nice to see you again. Yes, with the head of Seed Forum, I'm speaking to you right now because there is an interesting development taking place, and it's got to do with investment, and it's got to do with macro. Can I have the clicker start working, Steinar? And it's got to do with... Yes? It's perfectly fine, and I'll keep it very short. There is a fascinating new development taking place over the last 10-15 years in the global securities market. And this is the rise of alternative investment. And I'm sure it doesn't come as a surprise to you. Because when you see so many fantastic startups, and when you see so many fantastic scale-ups, it means there is money to be made. And then the way this money is being managed and brokered from an individual investor to an institutional investor is being facilitated through the financial markets. What I believe is particularly interesting, and I believe even opens a window for above the average profit with a view from an investor, is the idea that now, just like before with the public securities market, you can diversify your investments with startups as well. You can measure, quantify risks, and manage investments with the startups as well. So it's not only stocks, bonds, equities, and futures where you can be very exact and precise about your investment appetites. Now it's with startups as well. And then it comes to the way how you make your decisions. How much data are you able to incorporate into your investment decision? Where do you source your investments? How do you manage them exactly? How do you allocate your risks variable to your investments? These are the critical questions that require something more than having an immediate contact on a particular geography. It requires something more than being in human relationship with a particular startup. It requires diversification. It requires wide geographic access. And there's an innovation at Seed Forum worth mentioning, and this is Seed Forum funds. For a very long time, Seed Forum was facilitating access to market for small companies. Seed Forum now is building a new asset class. Startups configured as a new asset class, something that will be able to enter competition to the stocks, bonds, futures, derivatives, and other financial products in the financial markets. The good news is there are commitments already of some of the major players in the private equity business. The room is open to individual investors, and this means less than 5 million tickets. And the story is undergoing right now. So we'll be happy to discuss the subject with anyone who has an interest in asset management, in asset allocation, and institutional investments. I wish you all have a fantastic rest of the day, and I love seeing you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irfan. I would very much like now to ask those of you who are involved in impact number 7 and impact number 8. Impact number 7 and impact number 8, please come to the pitch administration table up here and report to the moderator Line. We need to know that you are here. That also includes Lars, if you are here. We just need to know that you are here. Please come up to Line. Yes, we have one more pitch included in this reverse session, which is of course an important partner as well to Seed Forum, as well because this partner together with SMB Norway is hosting the after party tonight. I believe that you're all going there. It's at the rooftop bar at the Grand Hotel, exactly starting at 9 o'clock tonight. There is a ticket. There is a ticket. Oh, 20 euros or something like that. Comes to 200, excuse me? Oh yeah, but this next guy is going to tell about it. I'm just helping him to introduce him so he can tell even more about it. Because this is Jostein from the Norwegian Entrepreneurship Association. And you're going to talk more about it. All right, Jostein? Okay, whatever, yes. Then I will speak more about the after party afterwards. Then you go. Thank you.
Thank you. You probably wonder why I'm wearing this red hat. It's about personal development, and I'm working in education, and in one of our rules in education is to exit your comfort zone daily. So it's quite uncomfortable, right, actually, to go with this red hat. So if you think it's why it's to be cool or something, it's not that. It's just that I want to exit myself, exit my comfort zone. So I hope everyone is going to do that. I'm going back to these rules later. In 2005, we started this association for entrepreneurs in Norway, and the association for the hardest profession in the world, and the entrepreneurs. And that's the people who want to make a change, make a better world. And our members are the toughest guys and girls in Norway. They want to, they love when they feel the blood, feel the taste of blood in the mouth, and when they feel the security about tomorrow and the opportunities about tomorrow. So they work 24/7, and they nearly have time for their friends and families, and they're almost very often alone as well. And they are so eager to reach a big goal that they nearly can't sleep. And they never give up, of course. And these are our members in our association. It hasn't been always that popular, actually, to be an entrepreneur. Now, these days, you are treated like a rock star or a hero. And but when we started this organization in 2005, you were not a rock star. I can promise you that. You were treated like an unemployed crook or parasite. And both from politicians and governments, but also from families and friends. And you probably heard it many times yourself, but I heard it many times. Jostein, can't you get yourself a real job? I heard it many times. You probably heard it yourself. But now, after 18 years, I've got a real job now. And I work probably in the most promising music education technology company in the world. And it's a game changer in education. And I work with many fantastic people. And I think I'm going to make a change and make a difference for millions of people around the world. And this is a Norwegian company, and it's called EasyPlay. I actually started it 5 years ago. But now, in 2019, to be an entrepreneur is a real job. So I actually got a real job. Applause. Entrepreneurs are doing a really good job. So, but in our organization we need still to do a lot of work, and that's why the organization still exists. And we will do that, and we will keep on working with governments and politicians to make it even better for the entrepreneurs. So, the entrepreneurs, please welcome in the organization, make us even stronger. I salute the entrepreneurs. Keep on rocking. You are the heroes, and you have actually a real job now. And to be a real, I forgot this here. Yeah, it's not important. To succeed as an entrepreneur, you have to follow the rules that we use in our education program in EasyPlay. And I will go very fast through it. You have to have fun on your journey, and you have to take small steps. often as you can, to reach your big goal. And you have to always do your very best. And about the red hat, exit your comfort zone daily. So, and don't forget to celebrate others. And when you have big problems, you can divide them into small problems, and you can solve one problem at a time. So then you solve big problems as well. And embrace positivity, listen carefully, don't remember to listen to others, and pay respect to others, and of course never ever give up. So, good luck to all entrepreneurs joining us, our association, and keep on with the good work. You are the bedrock of the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So then I will speak about the after party tonight, which happens at the roof bar, right? The roof bar of the Grand Hotel. And I believe that you all know where is the Grand Hotel. It's the big white building across from the Parliament. Now what happens now, we have 1 hour left of the 2 impacts, impact 7 and 8. And we will be ending the Seed Forum Pitch Extreme at around 5 o'clock today. And then we do maybe less than 1 hour more on networking in the other room until 6 o'clock. That's when we need to leave the theater today. Nothing happens until 9, because then the roof is going to lift, right? Exactly. Aha, could you say that?
Yes, so there's a pre-party at Othelia Lobby Bar, and for those who are hungry, you could go to restaurant Palmen to eat. And then you just take the lift up 9 o'clock. So it's the same building, the first floor at Grand Hotel. Okay, thank you. Welcome.
Well, that's actually lovely information, because then we have something that happens between 6 and 9 tonight. So that's wonderful. Okay, perfect. But at least at 9 o'clock, we have the after party. And it's very important to understand that all sites events and everything of this Seed Forum Global is and has been free if you paid the bill, right? Excluding this one, which is an entrance fee, simply because of the rent of the venue, 200 kroners or 20 euros. Sorry, that's how it is. Okay, then ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to impact number 7. I would very much like to invite 2 guys on stage, because I would like to have a photo with these 2 guys, and I would like you to take a photo with these 2 guys. First of all, I would like to invite the one who's going to give this impact, which is Norway's, I would say, Seed Forum's Performing Investor Award 2018, Lars Monrad Krohn. Can you come on board, please, on stage? And ladies and gentlemen, prepare your cameras, because now I also want to invite Norway's leading startup investor this year on stage to have a common photo with these 2 guys. Tone Knudsen, could you come on board as well? And now we need to take photos, right? Because we have the 2 guys, 2018 and 2019 with us. Okay, so take photos now, okay? Good photo shots. Are you ready? Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Lars, you know what to do. You are the intro for impact number 7, which are again moving us towards the unicorn stage. Lars, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Now, following this, now a number of pitches, which all may be unicorns. Can I have the first slide? Yes. It was more than 50 years. It was more than 50 years ago. I advised my first startup company as an advisor, and I learned my first lecture. I learned a lot of being advisor to startup companies, and the lecture was, don't exhaust yourself. He was a very promising guy, but he ended up in hospital about 6 months after startup, and that gave me a lesson. So my first advice is, keep alive and keep going. So I've been active in the ICT business as well. So the next is
Nei, den må klikke nedover. Du glemmer å si ifra. Ja, alle klikker opp.
planning startups for the future is you have to guess the trends that you are in and what the result of these trends will be in the future. I've listed up something which might come up on the screen.
We got some technical issues.
You need a spare. I have not part of this section here. You need a spare one.
Yes, please. Thank
Look up the seat for the telephone.
Klikk manuelt, Olav.
So I'll continue. I've listed on that. I don't want to read them all, but there are some suggestions as to the trends we're in right now, that you have to make some guesses as to the future. Now, we all know that being an entrepreneur today is in Norway in fashion and also all over the world. So there's a great competition. And that means that you have to dig deeper to find the business idea. You cannot just superficially read the network or web or the newspaper and find the business idea, is my suggestion. And you have to test it in practice. There's something called market investigations, but they, with the changes we're in right now, they are very difficult to rely on. Do you think Facebook founders would have used market investigations in order to get the idea? No. And we're waiting for the next slide, but I can tell you the facts about it, and that social media is changing the world opinion around us. And it gives us positive feedback. You're being cheered as an entrepreneur, regardless of your idea and regardless of whether it will be a failure or not. And that's okay, because failures you can learn from also. But this positive feedback means that the opinion, the public opinions, will be more violent from plus to minus, and there'll be more exaggerated reactions. So, prepare for the reactions that you will encounter on the opinions. It isn't working? No. Okay. But my second backup? No, that one. Sorry? And then a third point. Prepare for the things you have to have a personality. And what do I mean by personality? It means that AI will make not only our cars, like the Tesla, an intelligent device that will learn from the experience it has with you, but it also may behave irrational. Like my Tesla on the ring road, it suddenly, unexplained, almost stops, lowers the speed to 40 kilometers and then goes up again, unexpectedly. Maybe it's discovered something that I don't discover, but at least this is a trait when you have AI involved, and also I advise you to add AI to your product to make it more useful for your customer. AI is only in the beginning. So I have in the recent year, I've met two companies that one have been presented here, SoundW, and another one is Shield Me, and there's been a lot of good presentations, and there are, if not tens, maybe hundreds of companies that could be a coming unicorn, and all over around the world, there are thousands, I believe. There are two Norwegian exports that I tried to present last year, and maybe the film can show a short film that you can rest your eyes on something beautiful. Will focus on two products, the goldsmith products. We had one today being presented, and temporary dancing products, where Norway already is doing some export. And finally, I'll mention two companies which is rumored, I have read, to merge. And I think that's a great idea. I'm very tired of seeing small, excellent companies all over Norway with good ideas consisting of 3 to 5 people fighting against the market of the Norwegian commune or counties. They're small and they are really not, they are suffering by being so small. They should unite and be stronger so they can be an international actor. One of them, a 5-man company from Fredrikstad, they have found it easier to go to China because a province in China is 300 million people, whereas in a commune in Norway may be down to 5,000. Kahoot and the Dragon Box in the field of educational software is being rumored to merge, even if they're both successful and have products used all over the world. So I say hooray for merger between startups. As a conclusion, I have a point which maybe will be shown next year. Sorry, giving a conclusion in 5 advices, and the one I haven't really mentioned is to be prepared for changes, and it's a good idea to using planning tools, checklists, and what I call a rapid budget model to find out how the economy would look in your company with your guest future ideas. So I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. And finally, in the film, is it possible to run the film? That's 45 seconds. That was tailored about the 2 areas I just mentioned.
Thank you so much. Next up is Anders Fungeli with Parmasum.
At Parmasum Therapeutics, we make a drug to treat dementia in Down syndrome. We're raising 2.5 million euros to make the drug ready for clinical testing. You might have heard about the interactions between Neanderthals and modern humans. We inherited some disease. Some genes, of course, were not inherited. One of those genes is a very key developmental factor for the brain, and if it goes wrong, you develop Down syndrome. It sits on chromosome 21, you have an overdose, you have Down syndrome. These individuals have more than 100 times the risk of developing dementia than the general population. They're extremely at risk. We use, of course, AI, but also actual intelligence to develop our drug. We have more than 100 years experience in the pharmaceutical industry. We have taken more than 30 drugs into human testing. One marketed drug in the migraine field, the triptan drugs, is invented by one of our people. Our team is located in Norway and in the UK. We are about to enter into the formal preclinical phase, meaning that we will have to document satisfactory toxicology and safety before human testing. So we're raising 2.5 million euros, maybe in a 1 and 1.5 million euros, followed by something 10 million to bring us really into clinical. There is actually a huge market for projects. So we will not maybe take it all the way to the final market, but we will sell the project to the big pharmaceutical industry. And currently more than half the projects end up from small startups into bigger companies. And comparable deal values in our sector are $500 million, euros plus at the stage we will enter in about 3 to 5 years. So there are good reasons to invest in our company. We're working on a new drug for treating dementia that might have applicability, of course, outside of Down syndrome. We have strong patent protection. We are expecting a possible trade exit in the sale of a license or actually selling the company within 3 to 5 years. And again, comparable deal value is more than 500 million euros. Thank you.